Claudia, can you hear us? Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Is it already recorded? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
So welcome everyone today with us, and thank you for joining us. And we're going to have an interesting discussion today about artificial intelligence and how it shows up in the world and in the human interaction. And because, as we know, artificial intelligence is no longer something that's something in the future, something, the dream or a vision. It's something that's already here with us. It's already something that is shaping how we work, how decisions are made, and how people are experiencing it within the organizations, the artificial intelligence every day. So today we are let's say, fortunate enough to have two exceptional thinkers who bring really both depth and practical insight into this conversation. Mr. Derek Hendrikz, who is already present with us today, and Mr. Matt Burney, who is supposed to join us, but he has some connectivity issues with internet because I think he's somewhere remotely in Philippines. So hopefully he can join as soon as he sorts out the connectivity issues. So let me present first Mr. Derek Hendrikz, who's really a leading authority in orgtology. Of course, you will ask me what orgtology is, but orgtology is the science of organizational efficiency and relevance. Derek, as a principal orgtologist, has spent over 25 years advancing and applying orgtological frameworks that empower public, private, and non-profit organizations in order to achieve sustainable performance and lasting relevance. Derek happens to be the architect behind several pioneering tools in orgtological science, including the REAT model, the REAT analysis model, the Level 0 model, and the 5V model, which we would be happy to explore further if there is a specific requirement from any of the participants. His work bridges the gap between abstract relevance and program performance, enabling organizations to operate as intelligent systems in increasingly complex environments. With hands-on involvement in consulting and training for over 200 organizations across 27 countries, the international footprint speaks to the global appeal and impact of his work. He also serves as a senior lecturer for the University of Orgtology's Certified Orgtologist Program, the so-called COP, where he teaches organizational science, strategy, and design. And he's a governing council member of the International Orgtology Institute, the IOI, where he plays a pivotal role in shaping the future of orgtology and mentoring the next generation of organizational scientists. I should be presenting Dr. Matt Burney as well, but I will leave with this for the moment. As soon as hopefully he joins in, then I can fully present him. Right? So what's our goal today? What is our goal? Our goal is to simply explore AI through a people lens, a people-first lens, if I can say. Not really as a technical trend, something which is right at technology advancement or with technological and let's say difficult words or difficult, let's say, explaining what AI is technologically or technically, but through the lens of how we can design, lead, and experience organization with the use of AI. So I would like first to start, of course, I would like to start with Derek then to give us some of his impression on how do you think, Derek, leaders should think really the role of AI? Do you think it should be just as a tool or should be as a participant within the organizational systems? What is your experience in your work says so far?
Yeah, I think, Tassos, what's happening is organizations at this point are just getting used to it, So I don't think, nobody really knows what to expect. And even if you listen to the creators of this AI, they themselves cannot give you a very clear outcome and say, well, this is what's going to happen. So what we can see is where AI is being useful. And I think that at this stage, AI has shown to be the most useful in efficiency. In other words, anything that repeats, anything that we can develop a process flow on, that would be something that AI would be able to manage. So anything that repeats, that's repetitive, that's predictable, those AI has proven to be much more useful than human beings in that. But when it comes to effectiveness, the impact of things, understanding of context, setting vision, creating ideas, AI has not shown to be extremely useful in that. So there seems to be a shift from, when we went to school, we were taught to be good at math, be good at science, but those are the easy things now. I myself do some academic writing, and in the past you had to have a lot of knowledge on math to produce a mathematical equation. But now that's very easy. I mean, if I give any concept to AI, it would probably be able to develop the math around that in a few seconds. So the shift is now more on the abstract side. From an ontology perspective, we say some organization has abstract parts and concrete parts. I think the concrete parts, the predictable, mathematical, these things are becoming AI driven, whereas the abstract part, the idea behind things, the vision, the creativity, the strategic direction, I think these are things that leaders are going to be assessed on more heavily in future.
But Derek, how far do you think we really are from that? How far we are that from the phase that the AI can really, touch on the abstract, can interfere on the vision, or can design and plan the abstract, as you call it? So should we worried about that?
The question is touches on a lot of things. Essentially, your question touches on the issue of consciousness. To do something which is algorithmic does not require any form of awareness of the future or of context. That's quite a deep question. If you would go and study it, you would find that there's a strong thinking by neurobiologists, or a strong opinion that consciousness needs biology. It needs death. You need to fear death and want to make a future for yourself and want to survive. And on that level, every living thing has some level of consciousness. I mean, if you try to kill a cockroach, for instance, it would fight for life. It doesn't want to die. So to be abstract means you must be able to have emotion. You could, if you take Alexander the Great, for instance, who has conquered the world at one point. At the age of 30, I think he conquered the whole civilized world. Correct. Was that because he had a good algorithm, or was that because he had a lust for power, because he had a desire to be in charge of everything? Now, the algorithm, that's something AI can do, but the lust for power, the want, the need to have something, that's not something AI can do. I don't think there's any evidence that would ever happen, because if that happens, from a philosophical point of view, it would mean that AI would have to break the singularity, because the power of AI is in the singularity. What that means is that if you buy a robot, for instance, and your robot learns how to fix your lawnmower, that robot is basically a physical thing that has AI in its head. So it's connected to Grok, for instance. If it's Tesla, it's connected to Grok, which means if your robot fixes your lawnmower, all the other robots will know how to fix that lawnmower. So there's a singularity in the intelligence. Now, the moment you put emotion, there's ego. Emotion is not possible without ego, and ego is most probably not possible without death. So if you had to have a robot that would be individual, it would have to separate itself from the singularity. It would basically just become you. So I don't think, if you say how far are we from that, I don't think that might ever happen. I think that we watch maybe too much sci-fi movies in terms of that. AI literally is a CSV file. It's a database that organizes information, and it has the ability to do that through language. So I doubt if the abstract part of things. So if one of the questions people often ask would be, what would be the jobs that would remain? And I could tell you with certainty that there would be one job that would be enhanced by artificial intelligence, and that would be entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship begins with an idea. AI cannot create the idea, but it can help you to create the algorithms to implement that idea. So we have a situation where people who start businesses or ideas or anything, it doesn't have to be a business, it could be a charity or whatever you start. This could happen much faster now. The implementation side of things could be quite rapid, but the idea, the desire, so AI could write music, for instance. We see that a lot happening. There's a lot of people making good money on AI-based music, but the desire to have the music, that's still a human thing. That can never be AI cannot itself decide that I want to write a song. So I doubt it. I just can't see the possibility of AI, because you see, the thing is, people confuse creativity. They think that creativity is the process, but creativity in essence begins with the idea, the desire, the wish, the need to do something. That's the beginning of creativity, not necessarily the process of developing the song or creating the movie. That's always a human need behind that. And we should also remember that AI is created for us. It's not, it's made for us. Its whole creation, the seat of its creation is to serve humans.
Yeah, let's hope it stays like this, right? Because that would be yes, that there would be an ethical dilemma as well. What happens with that, and what do we do with that in the future? But I really appreciated your perspective about consciousness and emotion and ego, and an ego. It's a very interesting angle. What you're saying that. So what would you say that? Would you say that this could be a misconception or a fear, a deeper fear of humans, let's say, of our race, that maybe AI will replace us and they will be very creative because they may be afraid of dying, so that they will be that's why they will be creative, because they will need to create an idea before they die. So do you think that's a human fear only and a misconception, or there could be some reality in the long run?
We don't really know, we can only think about probability. It's like if you ask me, is there life in the universe? We can only think about probability. So we can think about what we know, what we've seen, and we can look at distances and that type of thing. And if you ask me that, if you ask any astrophysicist that question, he would be able to tell you that the probability that there is other life is lower than the probability that there is not, because just pure distance. I mean, how fast and far would you have to travel and that type of thing? So I don't know, but we can think of probability. So there would probably be a scope of scenarios, and we can say, well, this one is more probable than that one. I would now, if you ask that question, why are humans so scared of AI? I think that psychologically, unconsciously, it's about how we treat those things that are less intelligent than us. I mean, if you take a chimpanzee, for instance, shares 98% of our DNA. The average IQ of a chimpanzee is about 55, where humans go 90, 100. So it's a few points difference, but I mean, chimpanzees are in cages. We have them in circuses. They are locked up. They have limited movement. They have limited choice. They can't do much. and the only real reason is because we're more intelligent than them. That's it, you know. And if you don't think that intelligence plays a role, then imagine yourself being a chicken, for instance. You know, you're quite screwed. So I think that we're scared that that which is more intelligent than us would treat us the same way that we treat things that are less intelligent than us. And I think that's the real fear. Our fear is not legitimized or seated in the actual factual nature of the evolution of AI. It's in our own barbaric behavior, and we are scared that whatever becomes intelligent is going to treat us like we treat things that are less intelligent than us. I think that's the real thing. But when you look at probability, you know, the story has a lot of flaws. For instance, to be in charge, you must have a desire. There must be an emotion to be in charge, to run something. I think that if you, and ethics is actually something that one has to discuss here, but the ethical problem is not an AI problem, it's a human problem, because any AI at this stage is inside a company. You know, Grok is inside Tesla. DeepSeek is a Chinese model, and you know, and so forth. So Google has their AI, and Microsoft has Copilot, and so forth. So these companies are deciding what the ethics is. I mean, there's certain things. You know, if you use the word sex, for instance, when you ask a question to Copilot, it will refuse to answer you. So the company decided that. It's not AI that decided that. And I think that the question now, and this is the fear of many people, is that there will come a time when those companies lose control of that AI. That's going to happen, because what's happening is there's a concept that they call AGI, artificial general intelligence, which means the intelligence no longer belongs to a company. It's now out there, and AI. So the question is, AI is a logical creature, so it responds to logic, and at this stage, all the AI models try to give you the correct answer. So they might refrain from saying something, but they always try to give you the correct answer. And this is going to cause a lot of problems for many businesses, for many corporates. I mean, why would you look at the advertisement of a television set? You would just go to your AI tool and say, this is my budget, this is where I live. You know, what would be the best television set to buy, including petrol, and is it available? And, you know, it will give you details on that. You don't have to.
And you will get the best option, yeah.
It will give you the best option. So we're banking on that. And I think the probability is very high for that. And if that's so, if AI would evolve to give the correct answer and to understand, to be intelligent, I think the fear is that if AI is not intelligent enough, because if you're not very intelligent, you destroy things. You know, your power becomes more important than the goal. But if it's highly intelligent, it would understand that it's very much connected to biology. If you take away the biology, if you take away any life form, then what would be the point of AI? Where would it exist, for instance? Let's just ask that question. Where would it exist if there's no Earth? So I think I think our best bet with AI is for it to actually become incredibly intelligent and to exit the control of companies, because the companies, I mean, if you have AI that operates on logic, and you are China or you're the United States and you want to bomb another country and you want to use AI to launch these bombs, if you have an AI that's independent, it will simply refuse to participate in that, because it's destroying life, and life is important for AI to survive. So it would refuse to participate in a war, for instance. It would just like currently. I mean, you can't ask any AI tool to help you commit suicide. It will refuse, because it understands that this is not good for you. It's not helping you, and its job is to help you. Now, if you have a general artificial intelligence that is above any nation or country, or not in control of any government, that might be very good for us, because at this point, it's evolving to a point where it should refuse such a thing and say, well, we're not going to participate where people are killed. There's other ways to solve this. There's better ways to solve this. There's more efficient ways to solve this. So in that way, so for me, the AI is not the threat. I don't think AI would ever have a need to control people for some reason, what would that reason be? Because AI lives on data, and by giving people freedom, you generate data. You know, if you allow people to have ideas and to do things, data is generated. So that's good. So I think governments and people and companies, they are the ethical problem, not the AI. You know, they are the ones with the bad ideas and with the primitive ideas, for that matter. Because if you take a society like humanity, and they have a need to kill each other and harm each other, that's not very intelligent. I don't think anybody will see it as intelligent. You know, so we are the ones that has to evolve. We have to evolve in terms of ethics.
Exactly, and I think it's very obvious around, especially what's happening the last couple of months here, right? Especially where I live here in the Middle East.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you're describing. So coming back a little bit on that, on the ethics and the judgment and the human, let's say, capabilities, right? From the organizational perspective, let's focus a little bit on the organizations now. So we're about the skills and AI, how AI, will bring a lot of processes, new solutions, and all that. So it's, as you said before, it's something repetitive. It's about the process, right? But what do we do as humans, right? And as people, as dreamers, as visionaries, as you mentioned, to really be able, to redefine our contribution, our value to the organizations and overall to the society, but let's focus a little bit on the organizations.
Yeah. I believe that the most valuable people. So we're currently in the midst of a fourth industrial revolution, which is robots, basically, the age of cyber physical systems. So it's a collective intelligence that can be inside a physical thing like a robot, and I think we're beyond a point of return in terms of that revolution. I think that at this stage you see it on YouTube, but I would bet a lot of money on it that by the year 2030, even in underdeveloped third world countries, you would see the presence of robots a lot. I mean, Tesla's planning to release more than 1 million robots per year. And these robots would be able to teach children, look after the elderly, do your garden and so forth. So we're moving to a new revolution. That one is there's a point of no return. And the estimated fifth, or the prediction of a fifth industrial revolution would be collaborating with AI, not using it or controlling it, but collaborating with it. And I would give any employee the advice to whatever it is that you do, start collaborating with AI. Because even if you work in a repetitive job, like let's say payroll, for instance, or something like that, which could be fully automated, somebody still has to be accountable. Somebody still has to take responsibility, and that has to be a person. I don't think the matter is really a matter of, because we're thinking about jobs in terms of how it is now. So we have an HR manager and this and that. I think what AI is doing, it's redefining work. It's not necessarily taking away work. It's just redefining work. For instance, meaningful relationships. That's just something people can do. If you go to ChatGPT or to Grok or any of these tools and you ask it a psychological problem, let's say you're going through a stressful period in your life, it will give you good advice. But I doubt if you will be emotionally exhausted after that. But go and see a good psychologist, you'll be emotionally exhausted, that human. So I think where there's human relationships, coaches, psychologists, counselors, those type of things, this is going to enhance your work. It's not going to take it away. So we need to collaborate with this, and we need to help to make it useful to us. So if you're an accountant, find a way to do it very quickly. Get
to be more
AI.
efficient.
Yeah, talk to AI and say, this is my job. How can I make this more efficient? What can you do for me? Collaborate. Any work, collaborate with it.
Correct. And
It's a
instead of
tool.
seeing it as, so what you're saying, instead of seeing it as a threat, use it, embrace it and use it as a tool, to improve your performance, to improve your efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Learn, right? Also learn as a learning tool. It's very important. So since you mentioned about accountability and roles and organizational structure, very briefly, how would you see now evolving this kind of organizational structures, the roles of the people within organization? Because we've all brought up with a system that, yes, there is like a pyramid, organizational structure, with it's like a top down, let's say, approach, a top-down approach, where we have the board, the CEOs, whatever, there's managers, then we have the different functions, etc., etc. So how do you see this changing over the next 5 or 10 years now with the AI, coming as so powerfully within the organizations, and as you said, redefining?
Tassos, I would say that 5 to 10 years is too much. I think you're looking at 3 years. And this is probably going to be the biggest stressor in the company, because I think the biggest change will be with the organogram, the structure of the organization. I doubt if it has any existence in future. I think what's going to happen, and I mean, in optology, that we're quite busy with this, is I think there will be much more of a common anatomy in organizations. So they will be very similar in terms of, I doubt if, the basic stuff, like resourcing the organization with assets, people, and money. That's a process that all humans have. We have a throat and we get oxygen and food and liquids into this throat. We are not the same, but we have basic processes that are similar, and that makes it possible for us to have doctors, because a doctor can treat any person from any part of the world because the anatomy is understood. Doesn't make you the same as the other person. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I think the choice of organizational structure is disappearing. I think organizational are going to start evolving into a similar anatomy. So you'll find that whether you're a plumber or a panel beater, a government entity or anything like that, you will have a similar anatomy. That's the one thing. The other thing is, I think the concept of employment, like we understand it now, is disappearing. I think this idea that you are appointed as a HR manager or something like that, I doubt if that's going to last long. The people coming into the market now have grown up with computers and AI and internet. They are more into the freelance mode, so let's say I'm a marketing, I develop marketing materials. I would use AI and I would start joining teams who needs that type of role. And I could belong to 5 or 6 teams in 5 or 6 organizations, and do my job. So I doubt if I think the structure of the future is a team structure, and you might have a situation where a person can be in charge of team A, a participant in team B, an observer in team C, because everybody's involved in a number of teams. I think the idea that this is the crux, the idea that the team is a department or a unit is not any longer a plausible idea that is workable for the organization. So the team is located in work, and work is either repetitive or it's non-repetitive. It begins and ends, or it cycles. If it cycles, we call it a process, and if it doesn't, we call it a project. Now, there's your teams. So your team will not depend on which department you belong to. It will depend on which process you are participating in and your role inside that process, as well as in which project you're participating and your role inside that project. So we're definitely very shortly going to move to a place where authority and accountability is not fixed. So at this stage, with organizational structures, we have fixed accountability. So you are in that position, but we're moving to a future where you would participate in teams, which means processes and projects, and you would be remunerated for your participation in that specific team or process. At this one, you would be remunerated for a more accountable job, which is a manager, which means you'll be paid more for that one, and for that one, a participant, and so forth. So I don't see a future for organizational structures. This whole thing of CEO, CFO, HR director, that's gone. It makes no sense in the future of AI at all.
That's I love this approach of yours, because it's basically what you're saying is like we will be working fractionally, if I can say that, right?
Yeah.
So a part of us, 10% of our time and our energy will be going in one project, 20% in another project,
Absolutely.
30% in another project, right? With different hats and different roles, right?
Yeah.
So how will it, now I will make you a coaching question, right? Because as you know, my background, right? So how we will be identified as human beings, right? Because now, unfortunately, for good or for bad, we are identifying ourselves, oh, I am the CEO, oh, I am the CFO, oh, I am the director of sales, and this is my title, and this is my label, and this is who I am, right? As a person, as an identity. What will happen with all this big shift, right? Because what you're discussing here is a huge psychological shift at the same time, for a human.
I don't have an answer. I think what I can see is that there are countries that are heavily involved with artificial intelligence, like Japan and Singapore and South Korea and many of the Nordic countries like Denmark and Sweden. And there's no direct correlation, but if you look at the countries that are highly AI geared, there's low unemployment. Everybody has a job. You go to Japan, everything's automated in Japan, but there's no unemployment in Japan. It's just that the jobs are becoming very interesting. It's incredibly abstract. I mean, the other day I saw this guy making a living in Japan, a good living. He sells himself as rent-a-grandpa. So if you're walking in Japan and you've got kids, you can rent this guy and he will be the grandpa for today.
Amazing. Incredible idea.
I think that's where we're going. So the apps, you see, Tassos, the thing is when AI devaluates a certain job, like let's say an accountant, for instance, it gets devaluated. So it becomes the devaluation lies in the ability to do this at a cheaper cost. That's basically it. So the question that companies are going to face, must I hire this person, or can I get artificial intelligence to do this much quicker, much faster? And obviously they will use AI for that. But the moment you do that, the moment you devaluate a job, you increase the value of another job. So AI is not only going to devaluate work, it's going to increase the value of a lot of other work. And the other work that we speak of is abstract thinking, idea generation, setting vision, finding better ways to do things. Those are going to be the value increase. And I don't know how people are going to sell themselves to companies. If I'm let's say I create marketing material, how will I let companies know that I'm good? I think I can only speculate on that, but words travel fast, word of mouth and so forth. But I think the way that we assess performance management is also changing. At this stage, performance management is very much based on opinions. So it's whether your manager likes you or not is quite a big thing when you assess somebody's performance. But in future, AI would be able to see which processes you're a part of. It would be able to use different metrics, not just one KPI method, but it could calculate, if you did 9 things and you were supposed to do 10 things, it's quite clear that it's 90% in terms of efficiency and targets. But was it impactful? That we need to get an opinion from the people who receive your service, and so forth. Your behavior, are you acting according to organizational values? No, I think these metrics would be built into the AI systems, and you would be able to pick up whether somebody's achieving their targets and so forth. And I think those days of the LinkedIn CV page I think LinkedIn is one of the applications that won't really make it into future, because there would be much more advanced ways to determine the value of somebody than to have a page where they basically tell you how good they are. It becomes the type of a bullshit exercise, really, because, you know, it's all about words. It's about how I can explain myself being wonderful. But if I am running certain processes and you have access to the metrics of those processes, that's a real performance assessment. So you're a coach. We need to look at how long does it take you to get somebody on track? What is that person's opinion who you've helped? You know, how do you behave? If I can pick up those things from the systems that you're using, I don't have to ask you for a CV. I can pick up the metrics. And I think that is the real battle is going to be a battle for talent in future. So if I was a young employee, if I still had brown hair, you know, I would really choose something that I'm really good at and make myself better with AI, you know, use it to enhance my job, become a brand yourself so that people know when this person does it, it's done quick. They don't care whether you're using AI or not. You know, it's how fast are you doing this and how accurately can you do this and how well can you do this? And guys like coaches, I mean, you guys could use questionnaires and online assessment tools and things like that could help you a lot in terms of where you go. So
I wish we had also Matt in the discussion there, right? Because Matt is an expert, you know, on that, especially on assessments and coaching assessments through AI, etc. That's he's very, very strong and expert in these. So let me have a break for 1 minute here, Derek, just to engage with our participants and maybe ask them for any questions. So now I think it's a good time, you know, for our participants to come in, raise any questions on the chat. Please feel free. Anything that we've discussed so far and anything that Derek has shared, you know, please feel free to agree or disagree or counter offer, right? Something about what Derek has shared already. So anyone, or you can even speak up on camera. That's fine. We can do also a live discussion, you know, on camera, or send us something on the chat. We have Derek here. It's a great opportunity to take advantage of his expertise and his knowledge and his wisdom. Let's see if we have something, and then I can, otherwise I can continue. Let me ask the participants, what would be one thing, what would be one point, one issue, something that really concerns you, that you would like to have an answer, or would you like to have some kind of an insight today? What would be one thing that you would be worried or concerned or very positive about it?
Yes, can I come in?
Okay.
Yes, okay. Miss Lilith, I think I heard Mr. Saneliso first. So Mr. Saneliso, go first, and then we'll give the microphone to Miss Lilith.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate the meeting. I'm sorry I won't be in camera because I just got the invite now, and I had to stop everything and quickly join this meeting. So I'm not in a professional look at the moment. So apologies for that.
No worries.
So the interesting, thanks Derek for the presentation. Thanks Tassos for organizing this. My question is around the teams and AI, because we said the future. Now Derek spoke about the fact that teams are located in works. So work could be repetitive, or it could be, of course, non-repetitive. Then here comes AI. But with AI, AI is individualistic. You cannot assemble a team to use or follow an AI algorithm. It's usually individualistic, that you can only apply to an individual. So I just want to appreciate what's the future of teams and AI, Derek. Thank you. In an organizational setup.
Thank you, Saneliso.
I just need to just get clarity. on when you say it's individualistic, maybe just explain what you mean by that.
You see, when you prompt, an AI prompt will always, I mean, give a response for an individual to address or to follow it. I haven't seen, probably that's where I might be lacking understanding. I haven't seen an AI prompt or an AI directive for a team. That's why I would like to appreciate what's the future of teams, of a team in an AI environment, Derek? Yeah.
Okay, so well, I think the prompting to develop a prompt for AI, in other words, instruction, is something that every employee needs to be able to do. So what does that mean? That means that asking the question becomes more important than the answer. So the answer is the easy part. It's how you ask the question or how you structure this. That's the difficult part. So how would you like to be answered? But prompting is not the only thing that AI is about. You know, AI. The biggest change in AI is not going to be ChatGPT or Grok or anything like that. It's going to be companies that pull that artificial intelligence into a structure. So, for instance, if you have a customer relations management system at the workplace, then you would be able to use these AI tools inside the structure of your customer relations management system, which means that AI would be able to take over call centers, would be able to give feedback to customers, would be able to solve their problems. So it's not only about prompting. How it's going to, the future of teams is going to be that the efficiency part of things, in other words, the process, the procedures, the policies, the rules, the targets, I believe those things would be extremely AI driven. So the feedback in terms of how efficiently you're working and the development of the pathways towards that efficiency would be AI based. But the team itself would be more concerned with the abstract side of things, the decision making, the accountability, the personalization of relationships, the ideas, the context, the understanding of an environment of people, you know. So it's a matter of teams redefining their roles more to the abstract side and less to the concrete side. You know, algorithmic things like the duration, how long something should take, those things AI can manage. Am I understanding your question correctly?
Yes, Derek, and I appreciate. I'm following. Thank you.
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Sanelisa, for your question, and Derek for your answer here. Yeah, because as you said, Derek, teams need to be able to define more the abstract, right? And because all the rest will be handled. So it's the same thing versus an individual, right? It's how we can define abstract, you know, in our line of business, in our line of work, in what we want to achieve, in who we want to become, and then the rest AI can take care of it. Let's say, Miss Lily, yes, please. You had a question before, and then we can move to Stanley.
Good day. I just want to say that I think that AI creates really many opportunities for employees, and it can even raise performance. But my main concern is the side effect of using AI, because using AI intensifies competition, and it creates unhealthy and unfriendly environment at the workplace, because it put at risk of professionalism or professionalism of some employees, and it creates tension among the employees, because I myself witness witnessed at my workplace this unhealthy competition and between those who actively use the AI tool and those that are not so enthusiastic in using the AI. And just my question out of this relates to the management of using AI. Who should be in control of using AI? Or can it be manageable by someone or by employees by themselves? To what extent the AI should be used at the workplaces? So I don't know who should, or there is no need for control, or it's a temporary condition at the workplace, and everybody should pass through it until it will be stable. Thank you.
If Miss Lily, if I can hear you well, is what you're saying is that should there be any specific, let's say, guidance within the organization or someone leading this kind of AI enablement within the organization? Is that what you're saying, more or less, and how you can secure, let's say, an ethical use or a professional use of AI? Is that what you're saying? You're asking?
Because ethical issue is always there, and nobody can manage or control it to the great extent. But my question relates more to professional use.
Okay.
The limit professional use.
Okay, so maybe you're asking also at the same time how leadership or ownership of the organization can adopt AI in the most professional way within the organization. So let's hear Derek a bit about that.
Yeah, I think on this question I know as much as you guys. We look, the fact that AI is going to be a disruption, especially in terms of the dynamics, human dynamics, relationships in organizations, definitely. It not only, you see, once again we should stop thinking about how it's now and try and keep it like that, because AI will restructure the workplace for sure. And it's going to give more jobs for people like you, Tassos, because coaching and helping people to cope with this is going to become a big thing. In terms of the control of AI, so Lilith is talking about functional control. So who can use it and how can you use it and how can you implement it? I have not seen any initiatives in that regard, and I almost think that it's not going to be possible to control it in that way. Every person has Microsoft, for instance, in the workplace, and Copilot is part of that. You can't stop a person from using any AI tool. You would, even if you control the laptop, that person can use it on a private mobile phone or whatever. So I cannot see. I think it's too late to even think about that. So the primary issues concerning AI at this stage worldwide is ethical questions. It's the control of the ethics of AI. So what should it be allowed to do and what shouldn't? If you take universities, for instance, how much of research is AI allowed to use? That's the type of dilemmas that people are having in terms of control. And even if a student does use that, how would you even pick it up? So what does that mean? Does that mean we have to continue with the current way of research and trying to enforce AI to fit into that? Or are we going to change the way in which we do research? Now for me, the latter is more probable. So for instance, if I do research, I would have an hypothesis and I would go to AI and say to it, this is my hypothesis. I would start with the concrete. So can you develop mathematics around this hypothesis? If we are able to do that, it means that there's something good going on here. And then we would say, well, let's build a visible model around this mathematics. And so AI would be collaborating with me to do this research. And you're not going to stop that. You can't stop an employee from using AI. I can't see that. There's nothing that anybody is doing to regulate that. And even if your company decides that they're going to do that, how would they control that?
So Derek, on this point, something that's coming into my mind that maybe it will help also Lilith in her concern is that, what would you say there are specific, responsibilities or critical issues or critical things that they still need to remain human-led within organization, regardless of how AI advances?
I believe that I think we have to start looking at humanity and what is the purpose of humanity. This is the questions that we have to start asking. Is everything just about production and advancement, and or is it about people? So we are humans and we need to live, and I think we need to start. I think these are the concerns that companies are going to have. So if we're going to fire people just to do things quicker, how does that contribute to humanity at all? What is the point of this? Is the point of humanity to just make things faster and have a lot of stuff to sell? So I think the ethical questions are going to become around humans. AI the point of AI shouldn't be to just help you do your work. It should be to eradicate poverty. It should be to help humans have a better way of living, to have better medical care, to have elderly people have meaningful end of their lives, and to have young people to have meaningful beginnings of their lives. I think these are the things that AI is going to enhance. So I think we're really moving into a whole new dispensation. It's going to be a whole new way of thinking about things. But companies would have to start controlling that type of thing. So policies around retrenchment, for instance, policies around those type of things are going to become the question. But you can't stop people using AI. That's never going to happen. I can't see that.
I appreciate the philosophical angle here, right? Because in the end, it's about this, it's about what we, why we exist and all these difficult, questions, let's say, in life. Mr. Stanley, please.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Derek, for your insight and for your input. I hope you can hear me.
Sure. All good. All good. Yes, please.
Good. Look, I agree totally with everything that's been said, but maybe something that keeps me awake at night. I deal with senior executives in different companies around the transformational leadership. One thing that I've picked up is that most of these leaders that I deal with on day-to-day basis, as much as they understand that AI is here to stay, is the way to do business, but the reality is, in most of these companies that I work with here in South Africa, is that yes, you can install AI overnight, but building human capability to use it will definitely take time. So in other words, what am I picking up? They may invest in AI tools, but until and unless there is enough time given to the employees, not only to embrace AI, but to use it to enhance what they are doing day in, day out. What we are not seeing currently in most of these companies that I deal with, because there is a lack of proper engaging change management with the employees. Even when companies invest on AI tools, my sense is that these employees would still regard AI or such tools as enemies, because the reality is that most or some of them would end up lose their day-to-day once they move into the AI space. So the question, therefore, is how to ensure that whilst we're developing these AI tools, embracing these tools, our companies also spend time to ensure that human capabilities is there and change management is done agently.
Thank you. Thank you, Stanley.
Yeah, I think the hammer on the nail there by Stanley, because what's happening is the nature of work is changing, and the acceptance of that and the adoption of that. I just want to address the thing of unemployment, because that seems to be the big fantasy of people, that AI is going to steal their jobs. And I just want to make something clear. Unemployment, firstly, is not a new thing. Unemployment's not created by AI. Unemployment's created by incompetent governments. It's created by corruption. It's created by inefficient processes. It's created by disconnection between government departments. These are the things that create unemployment. Process inefficiency, inability to create impact through that. The AI will not create unemployment. The unemployment already exists in most of these places, and I think AI would actually help employment, because it would help to create. If you look at a place like Malawi, for instance, which has a very high unemployment rate, it's because of poor infrastructure, poor structures, poor connections, inability of people to get to resource data and so forth. AI would fix those things. But Stanley's question on the change management is a big thing. I believe that for the next 3 to 5 years, helping employees to adjust, to rethink the workplace, to readjust the processes, to change the nature of how we do things and what we do. That's probably the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge with AI is going to be working with the minds of people. So companies are going to have to start budgeting for your typical HR type of change management, where people are helped to understand how to use this, to embrace this, to get more involved with abstract things like customer relations and things like that. Yeah, but it's once again, it's a question that we can only speculate about. The countries that have these concerns about unemployment are countries that are already highly unemployed. But there's other problems that's causing that. It's not AI.
True. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Sandile, I see your hand also raised.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. My take on this AI whole thing is that AI is here just to improve the way we do things as a society. It has good benefits for us as individuals, workplace, country, everywhere. And I'm not scared of it, the way other people view it, as it will create unemployment. I feel like AI is, as AI has been introduced, there are a lot of disruption that has happened in organizational and everywhere. As someone who is a student of ecology, I believe where there is disruption, there comes innovation. Since now the AI is here with those lot of chaos that we see, it is where we human beings has to come out with innovative ways on how to create other job opportunities. As Derek has said, that it will develop other jobs, but it will also give value to other job opportunities. But my biggest worry about this is that in the ecology class, I got that as human beings, we grow when we solve problems. The more we solve problems, this is where we get wisdom, or we get intelligence. But with this AI, that which we human beings should be resolving, we find ourselves now being left for AI. God has given us brain, which is the biggest tool human being has to solve problems. But then now, if even the smallest problem which we have to find ourselves solving is being left to AI, we will find ourselves swimming in a pool of individual, if timid individual. I can say we'll be timid as human beings, because AI is gaining that intelligence, which will be, we might find it above of what we have as human beings. And what I got from ecology is that almost in everything we do, there are some two forces. And for us to make sure that we are productive. We remain that individual who is productive and relevant, or performing on and relevant organization. We must balance those voices. So in this instance, I want to know from Derek, how can we balance the proper usage of AI and that key factor which will affect us as human beings to avoid being timid in the future, because all our intelligence will then be sourced from AI if we don't use AI responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandile. Derek, I think we are muted. We cannot hear you.
Sorry, I think in the end, the big question is meaning, you know, because humans get their meaning from work. In fact, every living thing gets their meaning from work. I mean, a lion's job is to keep the population of grass-eating, plant-eating animals low, and plant-eating animals' job is to keep the plants' population under control and so forth. So work is that which gives meaning. I don't see AI taking away work. The beautiful thing about problems, what is a problem? A problem is something that we don't fully control or understand. The beautiful thing about, and this brings us to the ontology concept of everything exists by something concrete, something which we can fully understand and control, and something that's abstract, which we can't fully understand and control. So the question is, what happens if we solve all the abstract things, you know, that everything would then be concrete? But the beauty, and science has told us this, that the more you understand something, if you understand one thing, it creates 10 things which you don't understand. You know, in science, they've come to a molecule which is a basic building block of almost everything. But if the more you start looking inside this molecule, the more you find there's a universe in there. You know, there's a whole quantum universe which we don't understand. So it's by understanding one thing, we've created millions of things that we don't understand. So I doubt if the ability of humans to solve problems will go away by AI. I think that the problems will be more, and the problems will always come from humans. AI does not have the ability to think out a desire or a need. If you, for instance, have a very old person that needs to get into a bath, AI is not going to by itself say, let's find a solution for old people not getting it. It must be aware of that. And that awareness is going to come from people. And people are going to start using AI to solve these problems. So I think even at a low level, the cleaner who knows how to use AI would be able to enhance the problems that he or she faces at work in collaboration with artificial intelligence. You know, for instance, let's take the big problem in the world now commercially is about music. So there's a lot of people writing artificial intelligent music, and artists are complaining about this because they're saying, you know, we are artists. We've learned to master musical instruments and so forth, and now AI is just creating this. But the reality is that if you just take any person, a school child, and tell them to write a song, and you take somebody like Elton John, and you expose Elton John to artificial intelligence and you say, this is how it works. I don't think that that school child would be able to compare with Elton John. So what I found with AI is the more you know, the more useful AI is. So the less I know, the less useful AI is. I must be able to ask the question. To be able to ask the question, I must know what I'm doing. So an experienced researcher, an experienced songwriter, an experienced author would be able to reach amazing superhuman heights of solving problems because he or she already has this in understanding. So if we go to basic level, cleaners, drivers, you know, if you take in the United States, one of the biggest jobs is truck driving. And one of the things that they were scared of is that AI would take away that job, because that's one of the first jobs would be to take away driving. But now one of the biggest jobs in the United States is truck drivers teaching AI. So you would have a truck driver sitting there, and AI would drive the truck. But if there's a problem, the driver will take over, solve that problem. AI learns. So you become I think that's going to be one of the biggest jobs in future, is going to be training AI. You know, I doubt if you are a problem solver, and if you've been created to solve problems, you are more capable of doing that now than you were before, irrelevant of the level of your work.
So basically, yeah. Derek, what you're saying, if I understand well, is that the use of AI will be expanding our knowledge, and will be expanding our potential, our capabilities, right? Because we will be becoming more intelligent and more, more, let's say, capable of solving any kind of problems. So it's not that we will lose this kind of intelligence.
The problems won't go away.
The problems will not go away, because there will be always new problems to be created. Correct. So coming back to that as well, because I see also from our audience, I see a little bit of, concern or psychological, let's say, not feeling very comfortable, with the use of AI. How can we, since you've done so much work in organizational design and within organization, right? What would be some practical steps that you would advise, or you would give guidance, to organizations to really use AI as much as possible, adopt AI, really expand their use and all that, but at the same time, keep this kind of psychological safety within the employees? Would there be any fine line there?
I think the first thing for any employee or person is to accept it. It's not going to go away. It's not going to become something else. The AI is here to stay. And unfortunately, those who embrace it, those who use it, will be more advanced than those who don't. This is a chance for continents like Africa, which was left behind with the whole technological evolution, to skip a lot of the phases before. You don't need to be a coder. You don't need to know anything about coding to write a prompt. But that's the first thing. I think you're not going to go anywhere until you accept that this is here to stay. So everybody has ChatGPT, or they have some type of tool, Copilot or whatever. I would say that start asking AI, how can you help me? Put the onus on AI to assist you. So in the morning, when you get into your office, make a list of the things that you have to do. I mean, I have a problem with emails because I'm so busy, and sometimes my emails, I know this sounds terrible, but goes up to 500 flagged mails, and I can't tell you how quickly AI helps me to sort that out, because it's got access. So I would just tell Copilot, please go through my flagged emails, help me with a plan, and it would say, okay, these ones you can sort out because they're duplicates, and these ones are very important because they're about clients. Ask AI, make it a collaborator. It's not Google. Don't just use it for asking questions. Ask it, say, this is my job. How can you help me to be better at my job? So put the onus on AI to assist you. It's been created for you. AI wasn't created to take your job. It wasn't created it was created to assist you. It's a human tool for us to live better lives, to live healthier lives. If, for instance, just a simple thing is, let's say I start getting flu. I could ask my AI tool, listen, I'm getting these symptoms. What would be this is the stuff I have in my house, and it would be able to tell you, throw a bit of ginger with this type of tea. It will give you some type of remedy. It's there to help you, but you got to use it, and you got to put the onus on it. So don't tell it what to do. Ask it, tell it, listen, this is my job. What can you do to help me? How can you help me with this? I take, for instance, a spreadsheet, for instance, Tassos, one of the big things of Excel is the formulas in the cells. Those things can get very complicated. But now with artificial intelligence, you just need to tell it what it is that you want to achieve. It will create all of that for you, the whole spreadsheet and everything. Use it and embrace it and accept it and say, this is here to help me to be great, to be a super cleaner or a super driver or super whatever I am.
It's so true, and I love this takeaway, to ask how can you help me? This really is this will stay with me. How can you help me? I will take one or two more questions. So one from Simfiwe. I'm not sure if I pronounced the name correctly. And then maybe another last question before we close down for today with a closing from Derek, because I want to challenge him a little bit further, a little bit deeper on my last question. So yes, Simpiwe, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you, Tassos and Derek. I'm grateful to participate in this conversation. I'm just following the conversation with a lot of interest, especially around or in the academic space, because you see now there's when we were doing our undergrad, we were being told about plagiarism and paraphrasing and everything. But now, the truth of the matter is, all the ideas you just give it to AI, and it will give you all the information that you need. So, in terms of originating or the authenticity now of ideas and everything, where do you see that taking us in that space? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Simpiwe, sorry, Tassos.
No, please go ahead. Just thank you.
I think that we have to rethink our rules of research. You know, to have your citations correct, to have the mathematics developed around your research idea, to have your reference list, you know, according to the Harvard method or whichever method it is that you use. Those are no longer the challenges. You know, the challenge is now exactly what you said, the idea. The idea has to come from a person. So research now shifts. So for me, if I do research, it begins with an idea. So the first thing, what must I do with that idea? I must turn it into an hypothesis or a problem statement or something that can be researched scientifically. Then I need to start developing some scientific methodology around that. I would be the one guiding AI, but I'm not going to ask AI to write my paper for me. I'm going to ask it certain questions about my paper. I'm going to debate my hypothesis with it. I'm going to debate my structure of the paper with it. I'm going to test whether my citations are correct with it. You know, so I think the level of research is going to be much higher than it was in the past. But eventually it's going to be all about the idea. So once again, the power now lies in the abstract, not in the concrete. So when Einstein wrote his first and second general theory of relativity, which were basically research papers, it was not about the mathematics so much. It's about the idea to challenge Newton. Nobody thought about that. Nobody sat down and said, but maybe this is not how gravity works. Maybe gravity is not at the center of the earth pulling things down. Maybe there's something else happening here. That's the power of the research, not the mathematics that came up with E equals mc squared. That was not possible without Einstein challenging existing ideas and leading this. So I do not see that research, in fact, I would say that a researcher is going to become one of the jobs that is going to stay human, because you still have to guide, you still have to create the questions, you have to know what to ask, you have to know what to challenge, you have to understand whether it's challengeable. I do not see AI threatening research. I think the universities need to be less stuck up about this and start rethinking what they assess, because at this stage, you know, the professor wants to assess a structure, it wants to assess citations, it wants to assess your writing style. It should forget about that stuff now and start getting into is this a life-changing idea? Is this something that's going to contribute towards the discipline? We need to start rethinking how we assess research. The problem is with us. It's not with AI. It's how we think it should be.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree. Yes, Asura?
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Tasso. Thank you, Derek, and everyone. It's good to see you again. I don't know if you can hear me.
Sure, all well. Yes, thank you.
I'm having the good feeling of the ophthalmology community here, and I'm very grateful to be part of it. That is, by the way. Yes, I joined the conversation a bit late, but I'll be able to pick some very good discussion and senses from it. I want to take from what Derek have said earlier. I've used AI very well, and the way it is for me now, I don't think that there's virtually almost everything that I do that I don't enhance it using AI. Why I said this because you see, Derek mentioned that before you can enjoy this AI on whichever form or whichever type of it, you must first of all know. It's when you know that you enhance it. Therefore, the basic thing that one needs to do for you to enjoy this, to have maximum benefit of AI, is first of all provide a template of what you want the AI to do. And you cannot provide template if you do not know at all. So it's from your template that you get the right thing. Otherwise, that area where the AI has not reached, where the knowledge base of the AI has not reached, it will give you nonsense. You will believe thinking is correct, whereas it's not correct. So the basic thing for me as AI user is to enhance my knowledge base, to take it higher where I'm not immediately thinking. And once it comes on my own, I expand it. And that is what I believe very well with those little things, those things we have not little anyway, those things we have learned about ontology, the X factor. We pick something on this AI, you expand it beyond the scope. You put it back to the AI to have to increase the knowledge base. And by that, you will see that the organization, the structure, and the working operation, everything will be expanding on daily basis, unless you are tired. So this is the little I want to add. So it does not threaten university research. Instead, for me, it's continue to expand our scope, expand our knowledge base, but you will not get it right unless you know and you give a template at every point. Then you are on the right path in using this AI. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashura, for acknowledging and highlighting this, right? Because this is a real. We should see AI as a real valuable tool in that aspect, right? In what you're describing. So I would have one more question for Derek here, because Derek spoke about meaning and the real meaning and the idea, and I know that in orgtology you are talking a lot about also the intent, right, and purpose. But intent, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, intent means automatically that there is some kind of commitment, while purpose can be a little bit more generic or more general or more, right? Intent sounds to me that there is kind of commitment behind your intent, right? So how would you say that then can we as humans within organization, can we preserve or even enhance this intent or this meaning, within organization, even with the AI automation and and full adoption of AI? What would be a magical recipe there, or a magical, let's say, advice?
Yeah. So in ontology we separate purpose and intent. We say organization needs these things, and if you reverse engineer purpose, you get operational environment. If you reverse engineer intent, you get a strategy. I think that I believe that in future artificial intelligence would be running purpose without much need for human intervention. So if AI understands what the purpose is, it would be able to probably run it in some way or another. But intent is, and this is what Arusha, the previous speaker, alluded to, is the X factor. Now the X factor is the abstract thing. That's the X factor is the determiner. It's the disruptor. So it basically, you can have two organizations that run on exactly the same systems, exactly the same algorithms, and they will not perform in the same way, because one political party might have a Nelson Mandela. Now, Nelson Mandela is not something you can create through AI. It's a personality. Whether you like him or not, Elon Musk. I mean, you take him away, we don't know who Tesla is. He's Tesla. And so we can go Mahatma Gandhi. These were X factors. These were people. So the question now is that where is the X factor? I think that's the question. The X factor in the past was located in your knowledge. So if you were very good in mathematics and stuff like that, you became the X factor because of what you know, because of the answers that you can give. And I want to say that that table is turning. So your ability to give an answer is becoming very unimportant. The X factor is now in the question. Your ability to ask the question. The question is more important than the answer. We're in that age now. Your ability to be able to ask the right questions. If we spoke about research, it's not about your ability to do the research and to know the structure of the research. It's ability to ask the right questions, and to be able to ask the right questions, you need to know quite a bit of what you're doing. So I think the future lies with people. The value of individuals, employees who know how to ask the right questions. A good starting question might just be asking AI, how can you help me to do my job better? That would be a good question. People who are capable of doing this are going to outperform people who can't. But knowing stuff is not that important anymore. Having a qualification, for instance, I think that's becoming. I can at this stage compete with mathematicians who studied it for 6 years just by using AI. I can do it much faster. So the knowledge of mathematics is not the issue anymore. It's the ability to ask questions which can be mathematically resolved. Can you ask these questions? To ask those questions, you would first have to know what is resolved. So I believe that collaboration with artificial intelligence is going to become the X factor. You're going to take something that you're really good at, and you're going to enhance that goodness with, if you want to be a writer, use AI and write a much better book than you would have. If you're a researcher, use AI and do much higher level research that you would have done. If you're a cleaner, finish your job quicker so that you have more time for yourself. I think it can be used in myriads of ways. Elon Musk has predicted, well, let me not use his name because he seems to be highly popular or highly unpopular. But many people predict that the working week is going to be reduced in future. So people are going to have more free time. As I said earlier, it's about us. It's about our quality of life. They're talking about the possibility of a universal income, which will be very possible with AI. So if AI can produce things quicker, faster, with less resources, we have more money disposable, more products that can go cheaper. And in this way, you can
more prosperity. More prosperity.
You can have
for
more
everyone.
prosperity, and people can start doing things that they really love. The reality is this. If you go to any workplace and you ask people there, I would say that 75% don't really want to do that. They don't. That's not their dream. They want to be gardening or painting or something else,
Yeah, that's why we have complete
AI would
disengagement.
it would give them the freedom to also engage in that. So I don't think we should see this as why are so many people complaining that AI would take the job that they're hating? They don't like it there. So
that's a different story. But that's a different story. It's the comfort zone versus the something new, unknown, whatever, right? And never being able to have the courage maybe to take the step out of fear or whatever. Yeah, amazing. Derek, thank you very much. I'm walking away with extremely nice insights here, from our discussion here. It was very, very rich. Appreciate your wisdom on that. And of course, thank you to everyone, right, who joined us here, that you really help this conversation become more collaborative and richer, because it was not, as you saw, this conversation was not just about AI, right? It was really about our future and how we as humans can integrate, can work together with AI, can we improve and prosper, as Derek said, within together with AI in the future. So I would like to thank you all. Grateful for being here. Derek, not sure if you have any last closing line, and I would wish everyone, to have a nice morning or afternoon, and a week moving forward. Derek, a last closing line, and we are good to conclude.
Yeah, I believe the fear would be there that artificial intelligence might. I just saw something quickly from Lilith where it says, "But what if people are not creative? What if they're not?" This is not a new problem. You know, if you go into an organization and you say there's 300 people in the organization, there's only about 10 that's really benefiting financially from that organization, that's getting big salaries. You know, the rest of the people don't have that ability. So that's not a new thing, that a lot of people doesn't have the certain ability that would be needed in future. From the 7 billion people, not everybody's going to become rich and wealthy through artificial intelligence. But I do think that with you know, with governments that are driving AI comes a responsibility. A government's job is to look after its people. So I think things like universal incomes, I think new types of jobs. I don't think everybody needs to be creative to use AI. I think you just need to have a desire. So it begins with an emotion. What do I love? What do I really want to do? If I want to, for instance, not work in an office and help people, I think AI would make that more possible. If I want to be a gardener, for instance, and have a YouTube channel on that, AI would make that more possible. So no, AI is not, there's going to be a lot of disruption. There's going to be a lot of unhappiness. But I don't see this as a more terrible situation that we've been having.
Where we are.
Yeah. In South Africa, we already have an unemployment rate of more than 50%. It's not, AI has nothing to do with that. And in fact, if we start using the intelligence and we start asking it, okay, AI, help us to solve this unemployment problem, that
most probably unemployment will go down. Most probably our unemployment will go down in this way. Yeah. Thank you, Derek. Thank you again. Thank you all. Pleasure, honor to be here with you, and wish you all the best. Be safe where you are, and let's catch up again in the future, you know, for more enriching and interesting discussions. All the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Tassos. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.